when Richard Goodall walked back into his school in Indiana after winning America's Got Talent. It wasn't just a return to work. It was a full circle moment that felt almost unreal. Just months earlier, he had been standing under blinding stage lights, receiving a standing ovation from millions. Now, he was back where it all began, the familiar halls of a middle school where he had worked quietly for decades. For many, this moment captured the heart of Richard's story, a man who never chased fame, yet somehow found it, without ever losing himself along the way. A life built in Terre Haute. Richard Goodall was born in Indianapolis, but his roots were firmly planted in Terre Haute, Indiana. For more than 20 years, he worked as a janitor at West Vigo Middle School, a job he took pride in and never treated as small. To the students and staff, Richard wasn't just the man who cleaned classrooms and hallways. He was part of the school's rhythm, a steady presence, and most memorably, the janitor with the voice. He sang while he worked, not to impress anyone, but because music had always lived inside him. The singing janitor. Everyone knew long before national television. Richard's audience was the people who passed him in the hallways. Teachers paused outside their classrooms. Students slowed their steps. His voice echoed through the building during ordinary school days, turning routine moments into something special. Richard never trained professionally and never imagined a career in entertainment. Singing was simply how he expressed himself, how he found joy in everyday life. In Terre Haute, that was enough. One video that changed everything. In 2022, a short video of Richard singing "Don't Stop Believin' by Journey was shared online. What started as a simple clip quickly gained attention on TikTok and other platforms. People were stunned by the power and sincerity in his voice. The video spread far beyond Indiana, reaching audiences who had never heard of the singing janitor before. Before long, producers from America's Got Talent took notice, and Richard received an invitation that would change his life. A first flight and a leap of faith. Accepting the invitation meant stepping into the unknown. Richard had never flown before and had rarely traveled far from home. In May 2024, he boarded a plane for the first time, heading to Los Angeles. The experience was overwhelming, but he carried himself with quiet courage. He wasn't chasing a dream of stardom. He was simply saying yes to an opportunity, trusting that whatever happened would be worth the journey. The audition that stopped the room. When Richard stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage, he didn't look like a typical contestant. He was a middle-aged man with a humble background, standing before judges, cameras, and a massive audience. But the moment he began to sing, everything changed. His voice was raw, emotional, and unmistakably genuine. The performance didn't feel rehearsed or polished, it felt real. The judges and audience responded instantly, and the golden buzzer moment sealed his place in the competition. Winning over the nation. Richard's audition quickly went viral, drawing millions of views and turning him into one of the most talked about contestants of the season. But his journey didn't stop there. In each round, he chose songs that reflected his life and emotions. In the quarterfinals, he performed "How Am I Supposed to Live Without You," dedicating it to his fiancée, Angie. In the semifinals, he delivered a powerful version of "Eye of the Tiger," showing grit and determination. Each performance revealed another layer of his story. A finale years in the making. For the finale, Richard returned to Journey with "Faithfully," a song deeply connected to his relationship with Angie. Then came the moment no one could have imagined. He performed "Don't Stop Believin" alongside members of Journey themselves. Standing on stage with the band that had unknowingly carried him through decades of life was more than a dream come true. It was a celebration of perseverance, timing, and belief. Victory and a wedding week. In September 2024, Richard Goodall was crowned the winner of America's Got Talent. The victory came with $1 million prize and nationwide recognition. Just days earlier, he had married Angie in Pasadena, California. The overlap of personal joy and professional triumph made the moment even more meaningful. For Richard, it wasn't just about winning a show, it was about building a new chapter of life rooted in love and gratitude. The pain behind the voice. Richard's voice carried depth because his life had not been easy. In 2021, he lost his first wife, Patricia, to kidney cancer. Her passing left a lasting mark on his heart. Grief reshaped him, and music became both refuge and release. When audiences felt emotion in his performances, it wasn't an act. It was lived experience, expressed through song. Health, setbacks, and resilience. Shortly after his win, Richard faced another challenge when he required hernia surgery. Coming down from the emotional high of the competition, he was forced to slow down and focus on recovery. It was a reminder that life doesn't pause for success. Still, he approached healing with the same patience and strength that had carried him this far. Rejection before recognition. Long before America's Got Talent, Richard had auditioned for The Voice and was turned away. That rejection could have ended his pursuit of sharing music, but it didn't. He kept singing, not for fame, but because it was part of who he was. Those closed doors made his eventual success even more meaningful. Family found. Later in life, with Angie's encouragement, Richard began searching for his biological father and succeeded in reconnecting years later. He also discovered siblings he never knew existed. These connections filled gaps he had carried silently for most of his life. Fame didn't just bring opportunities, it brought healing and belonging. Returning to the school that raised him after winning, Richard surprised many by returning to work at West Vigo Middle School. He continued cleaning halls and classrooms, just as he always had. For him, the job represented stability, community, and gratitude. Fame hadn't erased his roots, it simply expanded his world. New stages and new songs. Richard began performing at public events, from NBA games to holiday celebrations. He opened shows, traveled, and shared his voice with audiences far beyond Indiana. At the same time, he carefully began shaping a music career, recording in Nashville and collaborating with local bands. He didn't rush. He listened, learned, and stayed grounded. A music career begins in 2025. Richard announced his debut single, Long Time Coming, a title that perfectly reflected his journey. The release marked a shift from contestant to recording artist. With management support and growing interest from publishers, his future began taking clearer shape. Looking towards the tomorrow. Richard has spoken openly about eventually retiring from his school job and starting fresh with Angie, possibly in a warmer place like Florida. He dreams of a home, continued music, and a life that balances opportunity with peace. He doesn't see success as an escape, but as a reward earned slowly and honestly. The story that still inspires. Richard Goodall's journey isn't just about winning a talent show. It's about timing, resilience, and staying true to yourself. From school hallways to national stages, he proved that extraordinary things can grow from ordinary lives. His story reminds us that it's never too late to be seen, heard, and believed in.